Hey guys, thanks so much for coming back and viewing another video of mine. I really appreciate you coming back and taking another look. Today we're going to be taking a look at a more modern Mafia member. So I'm super excited to tell you guys about this guy today. He was around during all of your lifetime, so let's get started. Francesco Paolo Augusto, or Frank Cali, was born on March 26, 1965 in New York City. His parents, Augusto Cesar Cali and Agata Schimetta, were both from Sicily. Even though his parents don't have an official criminal history, the whole family is all wrapped up in the mafia. Frank had a lot of rich family history in the mafia. His uncle was John Gambino, and his great-uncles, Giovanni and Vito Bonventre. One of Frank's best friends when he was a kid was Jackie D'Amico. D'Amico was a lieutenant of John Gotti's. Even though he eventually made it to the leader of the Gambino family, Cali actually had very few arrests along the way. Most mafia guys, they do a huge amount of time in prison, so it's very weird that Cali got through the mafia all the way up to a position of being the boss and didn't really get in trouble with the law along the way. You would hear Gambino members say, "I never heard of Frankie ever having a fist fight, let alone killing anybody." Which obviously is how most mafia guys rise through the ranks. They kill people, they, run drugs, extortion, blah. So it's very strange to see a boss come up with nothing like that. He's great. So Cali married a woman, and her name was Rosaria Inzarello. Rosaria is all tied up in the mafia too. After John Gotti went to prison, he appointed his son, John A. Gotti, to lead the family. When he appointed his son to lead the family, he decided to leave. The son wanted nothing to do with it. When he left, Peter Gotti took over the family. Peter Gotti was arrested and charged with racketeering, money laundering, extortion, and a plot to kill Sammy the Bull Gravano in 2004. So Cali's best friend, Jackie D'Amico, gets appointed into the position, and game changer, guys. Frank was officially inducted into the Gambino family in the late 1990s, so he was there his whole life. He was promoted to acting capo when D'Amico became acting boss. So D'Amico becoming the boss really did a lot of good for Frank Cali. D'Amico, who was Gotti Jr.'s aide-de-camp, was a shy boss that stayed away from the spotlight, and he stayed away from the media. He didn't follow in Gotti's footsteps. Members of the family said that he was crucial in rebuilding the family after John went down. Half of the mafia in New York went down too. Sammy the Bull took down everyone. It wasn't just John Gotti, so the entire mafia fell apart. So D'Amico taking over leadership was a crucial role in rebuilding the family back to what it was. And it's getting there. It's getting there. In 2008, the FBI arrested over 60 mafia members, both in the United States and Sicily, on charges that included murder, extortion, racketeering. The indictment mentions modern-day mafia members imposing taxes on construction work at the NASCAR racetrack in Staten Island and a cement plant in Jersey City. It also mentions illegal gambling and narcotics trafficking. Exactly what you would expect to see from a mafia arrest. You see mafia guys arrested, what are we gonna see? We're gonna see narcotics trafficking. We're gonna see extortion. What do you expect? Again, this happened in 2008, so anybody that tells you that the mafia doesn't exist anymore, or it's not a powerful machine still, tell them they're wrong. They are wrong. You are wrong. The mafia does still exist. The mafia is just as big now as it was back then. You just don't think it exists because John Gotti's not in the newspaper every day flaunting it. And that's why he went to jail, and that's why Frank Cali didn't. Joseph Valero was the owner of a trucking and contracting company called Andrews Trucking in Staten Island. He became involved with the mafia when he went to prison. Valero shared a cell with Little Nick Carozzo, a Gambino family mobster. The two became really close, and soon they were conducting business together. Valero began sending payments to Carozzo and his brother Joseph Jojo Carozzo, and in return, his company quickly became one of the city's leading construction truckers, hauling stealing dirt from the city's excavation sites. Carozzo now brings Valero into the fold, and he introduces him to a man named Joseph Spinato, and they went on to co-own several businesses on Staten Island. So both parties are greatly benefiting from this arrangement. The Gambinos are beginning to dominate the construction business in Staten Island, and Valero was so wealthy that he owned 3 40-foot yachts. 3! They were named No Limits, Cat in the Act, and All Fired Up. 3! In 2004, Valero was arrested with 2 kilograms of cocaine and charged with heading a large-scale narcotics trafficking operation on Staten Island. Instead of serve the life sentence that he was up against, he made a decision to become a government informant. Although he was an informant, the family obviously doesn't know. By 2008, Valero had risen to be one of Nick Carozzo's most trusted aides, and Carozzo planned to propose Valero for induction into the family as a made man. That's a big step. If you're a made man, you're different. You're above them all. So the fact that they almost made Valero a made man, all the while he's an informant and going back to the government with tapes and just boatloads of tapes, boatloads of information. Never trust no one. Now, if you read literature on what led to this turn of events, you'll learn that in the early 2003, Frank Cali and Leonard "Lenny" DeMaria, a fellow Gambino captain, began extorting mob taxes from Valero. But this extortion seems to line up with Valero becoming involved in the NASCAR Speedway. Maybe they extorted money from him, but Valero didn't walk away with nothing. His company was wildly successful, and profits were flowing to make him extremely wealthy from the business that the mafia helped him open, helped him build, gave him jobs, job opportunities, resources, everything. The mafia gave that to him. Like any other business relationship, those things are not free. Guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna pay. So they're calling it mob taxes, but really when he's kicking up a percentage of his earned income to the Gambinos, a percentage of the earned income that the Gambinos facilitated in him earning to the boss, D'Amico and Carozzo. Valero is no victim, and the tens of thousands of dollars that he was forced to pay as a mob tax extortion, it was just a business relationship. He entered into it, he reaped the benefits of it, he never complained, but guess what? Because you got caught with a little cocaine and you didn't want to serve your time, it was extortion. Anyways, this all comes to a head 4 years later when all the tips and the recordings of the mafia business, the information, everything is rounded up and used to press charges on 62 New York City Mafia members. Cali was charged on June 4th, 2006, and he pled guilty to conspiring to extort money from Valero. Arrests were made. Part of this indictment was intended to shut down Operation Old Bridge, which aimed to terminate the drug trafficking ring that went from Palermo to America. It was called the Old Bridge because there had always been a drug trafficking ring. There had always been drug trafficking between the two countries, and this indictment wanted to shut that down. The case, which is now referred to as the United States of America versus Agate, ETL, which I don't know what Agate is, but whatever. It was aimed at breaking up growing alliances between the Gambinos and the Sicilian Mafia, which Cali had been working hard to forge. So the FBI made this move because they were getting tips that the Inzerillos had returned to Palermo, which means that the closest alliance that the American Mafia has in Italy is now back in Italy. They didn't have to worry about that when they were in America, but now they're in Italy and now it's international drug trafficking. Even though Cali only ended up pleading guilty to conspiring to extort money from Valero, it makes me so mad! The indictment initially charged him with racketeering, extortion, and conspiracy along with Jackie D'Amico and DeMaria. Prosecutors claimed that Cali acted as the Gambinos' ambassador to the Sicilian mobsters and as a liaison between D'Amico and the Sicilian connections to the Inzerillo family. Cali spent 10 months in prison and then he was released on probation. And he had been promoted in 2009 to a position of power within the Gambino family. He eventually would go on to be the boss of the family. The first time that there was ever a report that Cali himself took position of power within the family came in 2012 when a New York crime reporter claimed that Cali had taken the position of underboss. The journalist Jerry Capici identified Domenico Cefalù as the current boss of the family. Cefalù was arrested during the Operation Old Bridge indictment, and he pled guilty for his involvement in the extortion of Valero along with Frank Cali. He took over as the boss of the family after Peter Gotti had gotten life in 2002. In 2015, Frank Cali took over as the boss of the family when Cefalù stepped down. Once he was the boss of the family, he obviously got the Zips a lot more involved in the family because he's involved in both families. Although that the feds claim that Operation Old Bridge broke the trade routes for drug trafficking between America and Italy, Cali increased the mafia's drug running business and was vamping up heroin in the Oxycontin business. Cali was nothing like Gotti. Gotti was flashy, he had no issues speaking to reporters, he wanted to be a household name. Cali was not about that life. Cali was not going down. He was not going to jail. It was just not going to happen. So he didn't speak. He was the type that operated just completely in secret. Reporters never would have known about his status as the boss of the family if the Italian mafiosi hadn't been secretly taped talking about it. He didn't speak on the phone. He made sure to discuss any business, face-to-face meetings. Many officials referred to him as a ghost, and the polar opposite of John Gotti. But he was leading the same family. On March 13th, 2019, at around 9:20 p.m., a blue pickup truck hit Cali's Escalade in the driveway of his house, and Cali went to confront the driver. The two had an argument, and the driver pulled out a gun and shot off 12 shots aimed for Cali. He attempted to use his vehicle as a shield, but he was struck 10 times. The FBI scrambled to put the pieces together here. They had no idea what was going on. Nobody heard any murmurings in the past about a potential hit on Cali. When Castellano had been taken down, everybody knew it was coming. The FBI had a feeling that he was gonna be killed. Same thing with Anastasia when he was killed in the barbershop. Everybody heard about it beforehand. They knew about the issues that were going on. There was nothing with Cali. Nobody knew if it was a power struggle from within, someone that wanted to be the boss killed him so that they could be the boss, or if it was a rival family. No one knew anything. The first mafia boss murder since 1985, during a time when authorities had been telling people that the mafia doesn't even exist anymore. It is front page news anytime a development is made in this case. But after further investigation, it turns out it wasn't related to the mafia at all. Anthony Camello, a 24-year-old New Jersey man, shot Cali outside of his home because he's a whack job. Camello initially planned to place Cali under citizen's arrest. For some reason, he was under the impression that Cali was a ruling member of the deep state, a worldwide criminal cabal bent on the destruction of American values and the American way of life. He planned to place him under citizen's arrest and deliver him to the military. But Cali obviously went after him when he attempted to attack him, and he started shooting. Camello was formally charged with murder and criminal weapons possession, but was found unfit to stand trial. He is now being held in segregation because any people in prison with mafia ties are going to kill him. But the trial is still ongoing. There's been no conclusion to the case as of yet. It's only been 2-3 years, and sometimes court cases take longer than that, especially when somebody is found unfit to stand trial. So we'll see a resolution one day, but as of now, it's still open. A new soldier, Lorenzo Lore Menino, took over as the boss of the Gambino family. So that's the legendary rule and bizarre end of Frank Cali. Thanks so much if you stuck in here and, finished the video with me. If you want to see more videos, go ahead and like and follow, and you can see all the videos that I've already posted and any that are coming up. So go ahead, like, follow, and drop a comment on this if you are feeling generous. Anyways, see you next time.